Welcome back to GAA Fan TV. My name is Aaron. Delighted to be joined here by John McMahon from the JMac podcast to run through this weekend's All-Ireland Senior Football Championship semi-finals. We do have the Tailteann Cup final to preview as well, Cavan versus Westmeath, so plenty to discuss. Just a reminder, we're brought to you by Declan Kirby GAA Star, best children's GAA book out there in the market at the minute. You can find it on Amazon, Easons, all good bookshops, so make sure to check that out when you get a chance. It'll be in the description down below as well. John, how is life? I say you're all set for a huge game on Saturday between Cavan and Westmeath. I'd say the tension is building, and I'd say it's very tense down there at the minute.
Oh my God, yeah, my man, it is. It's an absolute pleasure to be on the show again. Thanks a million for having me. Look, we're really looking forward to Saturday now. I think look as yourself, anytime you get to go to Croke Park and enjoy a day out, like you should really treasure it and look forward to it. So yeah, we're really looking forward to Saturday now. It'll be an exciting day. Obviously, you had the double header the game before. The Galway Derry game, so look, it'll be hopefully a great game. It'll live up to the billing, and I think Westmeath will definitely they'll be very confident they can get a win. We're obviously very confident we can get a win as well, but we're really looking forward to it. I just think look, I said a few weeks ago, in 2020 we were blocked away, we couldn't go to games, we couldn't do this. 2022, you can go back, you can do normal things again. So we should just really cherish these times that we have them again, and it'll be great to be back up and toast the muzzle.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's crazy, really, that we're here at All-Ireland semi-final weekend.
Already, yeah.
First week in July. Obviously, Tailteann Cup final and everything else. It's kind of crazy how quick it's flown in. And I suppose with both games this weekend in Derry, Galway, Dublin, Kerry, and Cavan, Westmeath, it looks set to anyway be another packed weekend at Croke Park. And, I'd say it'll be some spectacle for all the supporters who were there.
Oh yeah, it definitely will be. And I think it even adds to it having the double header, and obviously the Derry Galway game afterwards will just be terrific now. And obviously whichever county wins, of course, I'm presuming they might go back to their other counties or stay about for the Derry Galway game. We'll have to wait and see. But it serves up to be a brilliant weekend, and obviously Dublin Kerry on Sunday. So that needs very little introduction. I'm amazed. Funny, I don't even think that game's actually sold out. Amazingly yet, I couldn't believe that. So there's loads of tickets going for it. But that'll be a great game. But it'll be great games, and it's hard to believe, as you rightly said there, it's all coming to a close and rolling now in the middle with the start of July. So we really have to cherish all this, and it won't be long till it's all over again. Yeah,
100%. Well, I suppose we'll start with Cavan and Westmeath. Obviously, the first game up on Saturday. I suppose, obviously, we were saying there about it, kind of joking around about it being a bit tense, obviously, down there in Cavan at the minute. And obviously, on your own podcast there during the week, I suppose all the lads very, very confident that Westmeath will turn you over. I mean, they've obviously looked very good in the last couple of games, and their performance against Offaly was what a lot of people said was one of Westmeath's best performances potentially since they won the Leinster Championship in 2004. So, what do you reckon? Do you see yourselves as favourites going into this, or do you think Westmeath, given their form, are coming in as slight favourites?
Yeah, look, as I said to you numerous times before, I think the favourite tag hasn't really suited Cavan over the years. So I really do feel it's going to be a 50-50 game, and I think people, as you kind of said before, people kind of sleep on Westmeath and the form that kind of been bringing in to this game, and the last couple of years they've been building a very, very strong team there. So I think it'll be a very, very stiff test for the Cavan lads, no doubt. They know that themselves, and I think the ideal thing for us now, I've said to you before, the 3-week break since the Sligo game, I think it's gave us a serious chance maybe to shore up any kind of defensive worries we had in the last game. Just getting anything sorted essentially, because it's been, I'm presuming, Mickey Graham and the backroom team has used the 3 weeks really efficiently, because look, there was a lot of probably work to be done since the Sligo game, because obviously Sligo had numerous chances to win that game, and obviously we were hot favourites for it, so that could have been a big upset. So look, I think the big benefit for us is the break since that game. But no, I think it's going to be a nice attacking game of football. Maybe a lot of people are saying it's going to be quite defensive, which I don't know. Look, it just depends what way Cavan want to set up, defensively, because obviously, Westmeath have a lot of great attackers. Obviously, Luke Loughlin, John Hesland, Rowan O'Toole, shooting lights out. So look, it just depends. If we, I hope we obviously don't park the bus, but we definitely need to defend a lot better than we did against Sligo, because we can't be leaking them goal chances. As I said a couple of days ago, if Westmeath get a sniff at any of them goal chances, I really firmly believe they will take them. I think Sligo maybe just had that lack of cutting edge up front. So look, it's going to serve up to be a great game, and it'll be a great way to start the weekend, because I think it'll be one of them games which either team wins, they'll have a really good day's work done, because we know about the power and quality of both teams, and I think a lot of people seem to be underestimating the strength of this Westmeath team.
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned there, like obviously about like Sligo cutting through Cavan time and time again and getting those goal chances, but like at the same time, I don't think I can see Cavan being as open defensively as they were in this game versus Westmeath. Like, I think maybe there was a bit of naivety in there, maybe with the fact that they were playing Sligo. Like no disrespect, like I think Sligo are a very good side. Like they're an up and coming team. A lot of young lads in the side, but I think Cavan probably said, look, we'll be okay to leave a bit of space in behind, and we should still have the forwards and the quality up top to get the job done. Now, obviously, when you watch the game back, you see Sligo had some amount of chances to potentially win the game. So, like, surely Cavan aren't going to be as naive defensively to allow Rowan O'Toole, John Hesland, Luke Loughlin the space in behind, because one thing's for certain, like they probably will take them chances, or take more of those chances than Sligo did anyway.
That's my whole point. Like, and I think the Cavan lads have to be well aware of that. Like, and I know I kind of said a couple of weeks ago that maybe Pork Faulkner and Killian Brady were probably finding it tough enough, in Croke Park a couple of weeks ago. So they'll 110% be well aware of the threat going forward for Westmeath this week. And I think John Hesland alone, he could win Westmeath any game by himself when he's on song. So look, we know the threats and the power that is there, so we're well aware of the pace and the runners, and I think even Luke Loughlin's having a terrific year for Westmeath so far. So, and who knows, that could even continue on Saturday. So I think, look, there is actually an array of talent on that Westmeath team, and it's frightening early when you look at their half forward line and full forward line. So we definitely need to be aware of the danger. But look, as you rightly said, I think we will be shored up at this stage. I think Jason McLaughlin had a terrific game the last day out. I was really impressed with him, and it's a credit to himself. He's been on the bounce at the Cavan senior team since 2012, 10 years solid. So he's been a terrific performer. You have Pork Faulkner there. I think Killian Clark potentially might move back inside if we're under the pump. But it's going to be a terrific kind of game just to see even matchups, who's going to pick up who's going to pick up John Hesland. Yeah, there's a lot to it, but I think, as you rightly said, I don't think we'll be as naive as last time. We can't really take the foot off the pedal, and hopefully we can learn from our mistakes from the last day, because if the mistakes are to happen again, big man, it could be curtains.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and who do you think picks up John Hesland, or what kind of game plan do you think you'll have for him? Because obviously, as you've said there, like he's usually the main man for this Westmeath side. Like when you get him on the ball, when Westmeath get him on the ball, like he's the man who's usually doing the damage. Like, so what kind of game plan do you think Cavan will have for him, and who do you think could end up picking him up?
Yeah, like that's probably the $1 million question all week in a lot of people's minds. Like, who picks up the main man? And I suppose you could look to 2020 All-Star Pork Faulkner. I think Faulkner, that probably would be the obvious candidate. I know someone else was saying to me earlier on in the week that Jason McLaughlin could pick him up either, but I think it'd be a great test for Faulkner. I know Faulkner likes kind of getting up the pitch and maybe even adding to the Cavan scoreboard, but I think he probably will be given the job, or Jason McLaughlin, one or the other. They're obviously two fantastic players. Killian Brady could be a notable candidate there either, but I think the obvious sign seems to be Pádraig Faulkner is the fellow I'd be going towards, and obviously Rice McMenamin in the last couple of weeks has no doubt been in his ear, telling him the ins and outs of how John Heslin plays and what he needs to do against him. But I think Faulkner from the outset looks to be the man, but again that could all change Saturday. So I think tactically matchups could be very, very interesting to watch this weekend. But it's no mean feat because Christ, if you're watching John Heslin against Offaly the last day out, he was kicking scores, all-star form nearly. He was absolutely spinning them over the bar. He's well used to Croke Park. He knows where the posts are. So it'll not be an easy task for any of the Cavan lads, and I wish them the best luck, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and then I suppose going down the other end, like when you look at the quality of someone like Paddy Lynch, obviously, 22 points so far in the Tailteann Cup. 11 points from play, 11 from place balls. But I suppose the general narrative probably has been that, like in the Tailteann Cup, he maybe hasn't been at his absolute best. He hasn't been sort of at the form that we've seen him, obviously, in the championship against Antrim and against Donegal. Like, he still scored 11 points from play, and I think to get 11 points from play in 4 games, I still think is fairly impressive. But, like, what's your thoughts on that? Like, and like, how do you make sure you get the best out of him in this one?
Yeah, no, I think that's a lot of people kind of have been saying, oh yeah, Paddy Lynch has had a quiet Tailteann Cup and this, that, and the other. But we do have to remember the fact the lad is only 21, 22 years of age. He has 10, 12 plus years left in intercounty level, so he's a long career ahead of him. I think the Sligo quarterback was it Evan Lyons that picked up Paddy Lynch's last day. So I think he had an absolutely terrific game on him. So I think he deserves a lot of credit, the Sligo fullback, because he followed Lynch nearly to the bathroom. He done everything with him. So he had a terrific game. So we have to remember the fact he's a young lad. He's so much to learn. He's loads of big days out ahead of him. So I think this may be unfair criticism to a degree of maybe Lynch kind of not performing. I think he had a very good Ulster Championship campaign as well. I know maybe yet to kind of shoot the lights out, but Saturday could be an absolute ideal opportunity for Paddy to step up and bring the cup home for Cavan. But he will take a lot of watching. Obviously, a lot of cornerbacks and fullbacks and county teams are obviously against Donegal, he was terrific. That was the national TV. Everyone would have seen it. So everyone's aware of his danger now, unfortunately, as social Cavan into things. But he will take a lot of watching. But I think, he in fairness, though, against Sligo, he contributed. He set up a couple of things. He definitely wasn't completely quiet, wasn't taken out of the game completely. So he should be happy enough with his performance against Sligo for the way he was being marked, because he was well marked. But I still think he should be holding his head held high, because he generally I think he's had a pretty good Tailteann Cup. Hasn't obviously shot the lights out, but look, Saturday that could change. You could be looking at maybe 6-7 points, who knows.
Yeah, Oisín says here, I think Cavan will win, handy enough. So bold enough statement from Oisín there. And
yeah,
Owen McQuinn, husband of Elizabeth the Queen, says who's playing, man? What's this Tailteann? Yeah, we're running through the Tailteann Cup at the minute. We will.
That's not good. That's not good.
That's not good sign, is it? What's going on here? Like, is there football on this weekend? Is there a match?
Oh God. I would like Owen to be in Cavan this week, or Westmeath. God, to take fierce insult to that.
yeah, 100%. But I suppose as well, like I was just thinking as well, obviously the experience that I suppose Cavan have of winning big games, like obviously winning that Ulster title in 2020. You obviously, came through Division 4 this year, winning in Croke Park. Like, your third time in Croke Park this year, so you've had a fair. Geez, you've nearly had as many days out in Croke Park as Dublin. Like, I think you've had
Dublin. I know. I don't.
This year than Kerry or anyone else. Like,
Yeah, no, it's gas really when you think about it. Like, who would have thought this? In fairness, to get to a Division 4 final, to do a Croke Park day out, that was definitely expected. But to go up 3 times, God, a lot of people are probably saying we're probably getting nosebleeds at this point. But it's great, as I said at the very start. No matter what game it is, no matter what competition you're playing in, you really have to cherish these times when you're playing Croke Park, because look, you go to enough games in Breffni Park, dull weather, dull atmosphere. I think all Cavan fans, anyone going to this game, should just cherish the occasion. Could be wrong. I know it's a Tailteann Cup final, but again, it's going to be against a strong Westmeath team. It's before an All-Ireland semi-final. So, look, no doubt the players, no doubt the management team, absolutely everyone will cherish this occasion because, look, you don't get up here too often. We should, hopefully get the win for all concerned. And look, it'll fingers crossed it'll go our way too.
Yeah, Oisín's also saying, does any team have any injuries? Don't think so. From
not
what
to
I've
my
heard.
knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
Yeah, no team news announced yet. Anyways.
Yeah, we like keeping our cards close to our chest down here, my man.
That's it. Well, I suppose ultimately then, Huey, I mean, you're surely going to be back in Cavan. I think you'd be a crazy man to go against your own county. But what do you think? What will be the score margin? Do you think it'll be 2-3 points? Could Cavan pull away and do a shock? Or who knows? Maybe, Westmeath could do the unthinkable, win on penalties.
Oh, dude, you'll take the penalties. Yeah, look, to be honest with you, and like I've said this numerous times to lads during the week, like we don't really do anything easy up here. But if there was a day where you'd like it just to go straight forward and get the win, I take a 1 point win, I take a 2 point win, we can't win by 10 points, which probably wouldn't happen. But look, absolutely. I take absolutely anything this weekend, just even the bit of fun after the game and the bit of crack. I just love a straightforward day, Aaron. I'd love to get from the Dublin angle and just all your All Ireland wins and just have a nice straightforward day and night. But look, I'm going to go with a Cavan win, obviously. Shock horror. I think it will be a close occasion. I think we'll have a really, really good day's work. If we do get over the line against a very strong Westmeath team. And fingers crossed we can get over the line, as you probably said, 2-3 points in a close game, I'd imagine. But nerves are starting to kick in, so we'll wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, I think I might maybe shade towards Cavan as well. Like, I think, I do think as good as Westmeath looked in the last game, like they still conceded 2-16 in that match versus Offaly. Like, that's still a huge number to concede. Like, and I don't think Offaly played anywhere near as well. Like, and I do think Westmeath, like, they have had their own fair few defensive issues as well. Like, I think people forget, they struggled to get out of Division 3. They had a few inconsistent results in there, losing to the likes of Loud, Laois, just not really being at their absolute, being at the best that we know that they can be at. And I think that's been a bit of a problem for them. So, incredibly enough, I would have to shout towards Cavan as well.
Oh, I hope your Westmeath relations aren't watching, but hopefully, man, hopefully.
The only time I'd hear from them at the weekend is if Dublin lost. So
it's your time to turn up the books. But look. Hopefully, just I think. Look, I'll be getting enough slagging if we don't win as well. So I hope I can prove a lot of people wrong. Well, the Cavan lads could prove a lot of people wrong, and we get over the line on Saturday. And as a video I tweeted yesterday, hopefully it'll be similar scenes to that. Don't know, did you see it last night?
Yeah, no, I think the Cavan folk will be taking over the city centre if you win. Like, I think there'll be, it'll be like an open bus parade, and Jesus, like I don't even think they'll be able to play the Derry Galway game. Like, I think it'll be pitching games and all the Cavan be coming up to Dublin. Like, I think it'll be crazy. Like,
oh my God! And I don't know, did anyone see that Jimmy Jess video? I shared it around on my social media page today, and he absolutely ripped into us as well. So. Yeah, we'll be peeling oranges and we'll be doing this and we'll be doing that. But look, it'll be a blue invasion hopefully on Saturday. And it'll be a great day for the boys in blue. And fingers crossed we can get over the line, because I think we've been in this position so many times. Like, I can think under 21 All-Ireland semi-finals, all under 21 All-Ireland finals. Big Ulster games, we've had the hype, we've had the build-up. The Cavan camp has been very quiet since the Sligo game, which I probably like. So I think we've been in this situation so many times. Let's get over the line and let's do it for the boys in blue.
Yeah, Harry says here, how much does Derry win by the weekend? And I suppose that does
settle down. We're not there yet, Harry Butcher.
Yeah. I suppose Jesus, like a lot of very confident supporters in the live comments here at the minute. And we haven't even got to Dublin yet. So like
the Dubs. Oh God! I'm hearing just before we move on to the Dublin game, I think Con is pretty much a big doubt because it's a fracture that the man has. So I think Mr. COC could be a big doubt. But look, we get on to that.
Yeah, 100%. We'll definitely get on to that a little bit later. But Derry Galway, I mean, very fascinating game. I mean, Derry, looking to get to their first All-Ireland final since 1993. Galway haven't been there since 2001, I think it is. So, big game for both counties, really. Like when you look at Derry and who they've beaten, obviously this year, they've come through Tyrone, Monaghan, Donegal, Clare. Like all in all, like they've been the informed county in the entirety of the championship. Like when you look at who they've played, when you look at who they've beat, and you look at their performance levels, you could arguably say they've been number one so far.
They definitely have. And I've been unbelievably impressed by Derry so far. And I know, obviously, the test that they've had to come up against so far in this championship, but like I really do feel that like that was a very, very complete performance against Clare. I know you yourself, I was watching your fan TV coverage, and it was great coverage, and obviously Croke Park looked fairly empty, and from a spectacle point of view, maybe the game was over, but I just think Derry absolutely railroaded them. It was such a star-studded performance. I think they're a really good Ulster Championship. So I think this journey is going to keep continuing for Rory Gallagher. He just looks so driven. I really do think he fully believes he can win an All-Ireland this year. He probably has the players singing off the same hymn sheet. And I think the journey is just going to keep continuing. I've just been so impressed with them. You'd nearly just be exhausted watching them. Strength in numbers every time they run. Conor Glass flying from midfield. Shane McGuigan just looks like he's oozing confidence at the minute. Conor Doherty, they're just littered with talent. Fit as a fiddle, and just a prime example of just a team that has gone up through the divisions, took the league seriously, and just kind of came from nowhere. And obviously a team we've been crying out for, because obviously it's been the same teams year in, year out. So it's brilliant to see them doing well. Obviously I have a bit of a soft spot for Galway as well, but I do think that this Derry journey is going to keep continuing. Don't get me wrong, it's an All-Ireland semi-final. These games can be hard to call, but I just think from the two games, I wouldn't say we've an obvious winner here in Derry, but all the signs seem to be pointing towards them, because they've just been so damn impressive this year, Aaron.
Yeah, I mean, like just looking at some of their scores in total, I mean, Shane McGuigan scored 225 so far this year. Like he's been an incredible form, really. Niall Loughlin with 111, Benny Heron with 3-3, Garrett McKinless with 2-1, Conor Glass with 1-2, Paul Cassidy with 1-4. Like I think that's the thing about Derry, is that they're not, they're not reliant on maybe one or two players or one or two star forwards. Like they're getting scores from all areas of the pitch. Conor Glass chipping in with big goals, Cassidy's getting himself a goal. Garrett McKinless venturing forward, Brendan Rodgers, whether he's at fullback or midfield, is contributing. So like the thing is about Derry is that they're, while Shane McGuigan has been, you could arguably say maybe the footballer of the year so far, they're getting a lot of scores from a lot of other areas of the pitch, and like that'll definitely stand to them going into this one.
Oh no, like it definitely will. Like, and I suppose the great thing from that point of view is, and you look at the four teams that is left in the All Ireland series, you could really look. Colin Kilnall and Derry. Come on, Colin, good to see you, my man, fellow Cavan man. The four teams that are left, you kind of always look at Shane Walsh, Damien Comer, David Clifford, Paul Geaney. Don't get me wrong, these are unbelievable players, Conor Callan, Dean Rock. But I think with Derry, as you rightly said, they've an array of scorers, and I really do think that can help them going down the home stretch. And obviously, this game this Saturday could be a prime example of it. So, I know Cavan, in fairness, just refer back to Cavan for a second, we had a array of scores in the first half against Sligo. So I think any time you can utilize all of your team to help you get you over the line, I think that's really, really beneficial, instead of the likes of Dean Rock, Conor O'Callaghan, any of these boys, Shane Walsh, do all the scoring. So that's a really good asset to have in the team. God, it makes a world of a difference. So I think that will benefit them on Saturday. Scores coming from anywhere. And the great thing is, Aaron, like they're so quick, they can get up the pitch, they're so agile, and they just get back into their positions. Like it's like being in like a military or army camp. They go up the field, just get the point, and by God, they run back into their position, and they're organised by the time the keeper has the ball down the tee. So, look, they're coached to win an inch of their lives, make no doubt about it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing them live. Hopefully herself will have the patience to stay for another game.
Yeah, Oisin says, has a Division 2 team ever won the Sam Maguire? I'd say there has been. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I suppose a bit of a quiz question. Any GA buffs listening in the live chat or whatever, feel free to let us know. But I have to imagine there's certainly been a few. I'd say, can you think of any?
Any Division 2 team has won the Sam Maguire? Jesus, that is a very good question, my man. I am not overly sure. Surely, if you look down through the years when Dublin were in Division 2, weren't they, at some stages? they win it that year. In the last couple of years, I'm not sure, because it's a very good question, and it kind of brings into the point that, you know, in the Division 1, you have so many good teams, and that's probably where it is at, and that's where the best teams are. But look, again, this is what I'm saying. This is why Derry is so damn impressive. They're in Division 2, probably are a Division 1 team really at this stage. If they win the All-Ireland for being in Division 2 this year, Rory Gallagher's a smart man.
Yeah, Tommy Cavan says Cork. I mean, could be. I mean, what, 2010? I think they were Division 1. I think they were Division 1 back then, though, because I remember
I'd imagine so. Yeah.
They won the league in 2011.
Well, Dublin have won the last 20 All Ireland, so it's kind of hard to. And it's from my time following the GAA, which has been since 06, 07, you know. So it's been fairly Dublin / Kerry dominated. So I'd have to maybe before our time, Aaron. Maybe before our time.
Yeah, 100%. I suppose. Like, obviously, we're speaking about Derry's threats and some of the players that they have and some of the issues that they, you know, could cause for Galway. But look, I suppose at the same time, like, I do think a lot of people are sleeping on Galway and probably not quite giving them the credit that they deserve. I'm not too sure why, really. Like, I feel like maybe they haven't, you know, like they've scraped through a lot of their games. They've looked good in patches, but have sort of squeezed through at the end. They've sort of had defensive issues as well, but you know, like obviously players like Shane Walsh, Robert Finnerty, Damien Comer, like I feel like this might be the toughest test for Derry defensively anyways, because, you know, like I feel like Tyrone, they just weren't at the races. You know, McManus wasn't really at it in the Monaghan game. Donegal, you know, weren't really posing too much stress to Derry. So I feel like for that defence, for the likes of Rogers, Chrissy McCaig, you know, they are going to have their hands full in this one.
Oh no, like look, they absolutely will. And as you rightly said, probably a lot of people maybe are sleeping on Galway and the power and strength that they have. One thing you would have to kind of say, and like I was watching the Armagh Galway game very closely the other day, and I think it was at the first 20-25 minutes, you know, Galway were really struggling to beat Galway were really struggling to beat that Armagh blanket defence. So look, if Derry do ploy them tactics on Saturday, that will be very interesting to see what way Galway approach that and how to beat the blanket defence. Are they up for doing long range shots? It's an All-Ireland semi-final, so you need to be willing probably to take a lot of chances. But look, it will be very interesting to see what way they kind of set up with that. But look, I think Galway, we all know about the usuals, Shane Walsh, Comer, and I know maybe a lot of people is maybe talking about Walsh's mistake at the end, kicking the ball across the pitch, you know, last couple of minutes against Armagh instead of really running out, and you know, that was taken away from a very good performance that he had. And I know James Morgan was giving him lots for that day too. So look, them two men are going to be absolutely pivotal. We've obviously McDade as well and Finnerty up front. So look, we have a lot of talented players. But you see, my big thing on it is, and like maybe a lot of people probably know it, like obviously Paul Conroy flying too, but I think Rory Gallagher, he just looks like an absolute student of the game, and I really do think he'll have these Galway boys sussed out. He's been doing his homework on them. He has the players doing their homework on them as well. So I really think he's that good of a coach. He knows the game inside and out, and I just think he's going to have another plan for these Galway lads, and I can just really feel Derry coming out of the traps as quick as possible. And yeah, I know Ciara McGeady, you know, set up very well against Galway the last out. I think Gallagher might even set up even better, and Gallagher could go man to man. He could have just, you know, two men on the likes of Comer or Walls, but it'll be very interesting. But yeah, I think Mr. Gallagher is going to have another plan for the Tribesmen on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. A few people saying there Armagh were Division 2B in 2002 there, so I suppose they're the last side to have won an All-Ireland coming from Division 2. So we'll see if Derry can follow on the footsteps of their lovely old neighbours there. Rommel also says here, no goal. Jack's getting slapped, in my opinion. Kerry by 6+. Fear will engulf Derry, and they will revert back to northern style.
Interesting, Rommel.
By 5+. I mean, it's an interesting point. Like, I mean, we seen Derry sort of, they went at Clare and they attacked them, and they sort of ran in behind them, and you seen them pushing so high up the pitch. Like, as I was saying to you, like, I was in the upper Cusack, so you could see perfectly, like, you know, like the way they were just pushing up, like on the kickouts.
You had the upper Cusack to yourself. I had to laugh in that video. It was brilliant. You and your mate, wasn't it? Look brilliant.
Yeah, and it was funny. Like one of my mates, he came with his baby, but yeah, she couldn't handle the noise. The Derry fans were a bit too loud for her, so they had
God,
to leave.
don't bring her Saturday. Don't bring the baby.
Oh
God,
Jesus, yeah,
see and hear the Cavan fans, Christ. God, but yeah, no. Look, Croke at the last did look very dead quiet. But sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do you think, like, for myself personally, I
Yeah.
don't think they'll be as attacking as they were in that game. Like, I think they probably identified that Clare maybe have their own defensive problems as we've seen. Like, they got beat by Limerick, obviously in the Munster Championship. Like, probably don't have the forwards to be setting up fully blanket. Like, so in this one though, against that Galway attack, like, I just don't think, like, they're not gonna change and leave any space in behind. And I think Kev was saying it on your podcast, comparing this maybe to a bit like 2011 Derry or Dublin Donegal, where it was one of the worst games of all time. I hope it's not now, but I do have a sneaky feeling it might be something like that, because there's so much on the line as well. Like you could arguably say that neither one of these two will get a better chance to get to an All-Ireland final again. I mean, Derry are on the up. Maybe they will go up. You don't want to rule these counties out, but at the same time, it's a huge opportunity.
I know. Look, it's a massive opportunity. Like, and I think we were saying to Finney and Hanley during the week that Galway probably won't get a better opportunity, and rightly so, because obviously Galway, like, it's unforeseen kind of territory for them, and definitely Derry the last couple of years they haven't been getting to the ladder ends of these competitions at all. So I don't think they will. But I really do feel like, I was watching Rory Gallagher like in the Off the Ball podcast last October, November, like, and he just looks like a fella who could just tell you your fortune or what you're going to be doing for like the next 10 or 15 years of your life. He just looks like a psychologist or something. It just looks like he's the whole thing kind of sussed out. So I really do feel, as you rightly were saying there, that even Derry against Clare there a couple of weeks ago, Gallagher obviously identified the threat off Clare, what they were bringing to the table, maybe being slack at the back, and Derry 5 goals against them. So if that doesn't tell you where that man's head's at, I don't know what will. So again, I keep saying it. I think he will have a plan. But go look, Galway will look. They'll fully believe. Yeah, he definitely will. James, Galway will. Derry will, or Galway will fully believe they can get to an All-Ireland final, 110%. They're a confident county down there. But they will know the threat and power of this Derry team. This probably juggernaut at this current minute in time that's coming up against them. So look, it's going to be an intriguing game. Like, it's funny, obviously the Galway Armagh game, the last day out, you had everything, you had penalties, you had extra time. Could this go to extra time? Could there be a winner within the 70 minutes? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think GAA fans all over Ireland will have enough energy if it goes to them sort of levels again. But look, don't be wrong, big man. I think it will take a bit of time to light up, but it will be a KG fair. 2011 Donegal Dublin, will it be like that? I'm not too sure. Like, it is an All-Ireland semi-final. I hope it's not like that, because Christ, that game absolutely stank the place out. But we're just hoping for a good game of football.
Yeah, Alan says here, Galway have nearly thrown away Mayo, Roscommon and Armagh games in the last 10 minutes. And it's a good point. Yeah. I mean, there were 5 points up going into the final few minutes against Mayo. I think there were 8 points up, won that game by 1. There were 8 points up against Roscommon, ended up winning it by 3. Against Armagh, like, they were 6 up and then 4 up in injury time. But yeah, it still went extra time. Look, they still won them games, and you still have to give them credit for eventually hanging on, because I think Galway sides in the past probably would have crumbled a little bit. You think of Monaghan last year in that relegation playoff. So you do need to give them credit at the same time, but you do feel like that could maybe be a bit of an issue for Galway, because from looking at Derry, like, they don't get tired. You know what I mean? As we said, like,
it's crazy. It's like me and you.
Oh, stop. Maybe like me and you and in Coppers, maybe like. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, no, my man, that's it. And like, Galway will need to be so aware of the fact that, look, they know exactly what they're coming up against, and obviously Pork Joyce and Rory Gallagher, I think they'd be good pals. They'd know each other inside out. So look, they will know the threats of this Derry team, what they're bringing to the table. And look, it'll probably exhaust a lot of the players even watching maybe the video analysis the last couple of weeks on this Derry team. And like Galway, like, they'll probably be going fear and what it's going to be like. But look, they can't hold back. It's an All-Ireland semi-final, as you said a couple of minutes ago. They don't get these chances too often. Obviously, the semi-finals are all about winning, so they will really need to take their chance. But look, it's going to be a very, very stiff test against a very, very informed Derry team. And but I still really feel that Derry can absolutely get the job done. And I suppose Galway, on the other hand, the last year obviously was a good win. Eventually, a good win against Armagh. Obviously, it took them the penalties, but I just think that Galway's performance generally was that bit better than Armagh's. But look, would that kind of performance be good enough to beat this very informed Derry team? I'm not sure. So I'm going to stick with my old cement.
Yeah, I mean, like, and another thing we haven't mentioned as well is the midfield battle, which I think is going to be very interesting. Like, I think you're on form, like, you're looking at probably the two best midfields in the country, maybe, like, Killy McDade and, Paul Conroy. I mean, as we know, like, Paul Conroy is probably going to be crucial for Galway in this game, because when you think of Derry, obviously, getting a lot of men behind the ball, Galway are probably going to need people who can kick scores from distance. And I think Paul Conroy is certainly a player who can do that. So, like, I feel like the midfield is going to be crucial as well. Like, obviously, Conor Glass in there, as we know. So it's going to be, I mean, the midfield battle is going to be very tasty.
Oh no, like it definitely will be. Like, and I suppose I think was a Kev saying during the week that Paul Conroy will need to absolutely dominate midfield if Galway have a chance in this game, because we know about the former Conor Glass that he's in all-star form. So look, Conroy will need to be top to pop Saturday. He's well aware of that. So look, from that point of view, and obviously midfields normally wins games. So look, it'll be an intriguing battle, no doubt. So look, he's well aware of the task that's going to come with it. I suppose from Glass's point of view, he might just be that quicker off the ground than Conroy, so that might kind of benefit him in the long run, So I think this Derry juggernaut's going to keep on going on. And Conor Glass is going to have a pivotal say once again. Obviously, Conroy's in very good form himself, but he's coming up against a very young Conor Glass, who's only back from Australia, the last 2 years. So he's in the form of his life. So I think it'll definitely go a long way for saying who's going to win this game. But no, again, as you rightly said, it'll be an intriguing battle.
Yeah, so you're gonna stick with the Ulster men and Derry to just grind out Galway, you think?
I don't even know grind out. I think maybe not win comfortably, but I think they will probably have a few points to spare. And I'll go with a Derry win and just probably another Rory Gallagher masterclass.
Yeah. Imar says here, Galway have the fitness to live with Derry. Armagh were very poor and Galway struggled to put them away. Derry will get an early lead and dictate the terms. Derry by
all the way from Iraq. Armagh were very poor and Galway struggled with it. Derry get an early lead and dictate. I think so. You're absolutely bang on. I think it will probably be that comfortable in the end. Look, Galway will put up obviously a good fight, but just I don't want to kind of sound like a robot, but this or a radio or whatever you're having yourself. But no, this Derry juggernaut's going to keep going, I feel.
Yeah, Shane saying here, will you be there Sunday? I won't be actually. Unfortunately, I did. But, well, I didn't buy a ticket for the game Sunday, but I bought a game for the ticket Saturday. Unfortunately, I do have the...
You bought a game for the ticket?
I bought a game for the ticket, yeah. That's when you know, like, that's when you know. You know what I mean? Oh, jeez. I think I said something as well. I think I said something that was like, leave your YouTube in the comments down below or something. I said that a few weeks ago as well. Disaster.
That is class. Oh,
that's a bit like Chris Kamara or something. I don't know, Jeff.
Brilliant stuff, my man. Brilliant stuff. I got a game for the ticket as well Saturday, so I'll see if any fans going to Saturday.
100%. Well, I suppose to finish up on this game, look, I am going to back Derry as well. I think they do just have enough. Like, I haven't been overly impressed with Galway a lot of the times this year. Like, I think they've done very well to get to the All-Ireland semi-finals, don't get me wrong, but I do just think that, this Derry machine is not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Well, we'll move on to the main course, the main event, Dublin and Kerry, the Classico of Gaelic football.
Oh, yeah, my man. I cannot wait for this game. And as I said to Mr. Goulding last night, we were chatting away about the weekend's action. And I said, I'm going to have a head on me like Carlos Tevez Sunday morning. So hopefully I'll be all right for this game come 3:30. But look, we're really looking forward to this game. Like, what more can you say about it, my man? And I'm absolutely amazed. Tickets still aren't sold out for it as well. Maybe it's the current climate, the cost of everything, that everything goes with that at the minute. But look, if I had a chance, I'd be love to go to it. But look, it's going to be a great game of football. It's a game for the ages. It's an absolute game for the ages. It's what you wait. It's what you wait for, I suppose. And obviously, coming into it, we're hearing about the fitness maybe of Colin Callan, saying potentially it's a fracture and the injury is more serious than people probably once thought. And obviously, the fitness of James McCarthy. We don't know what the crack is with David Clifford yet. So look, intriguing stuff. Absolutely intriguing stuff. Obviously, the winners will play more than likely, I feel, a Derry team. So that'll be an intriguing battle when it does come to the fold. But look, sure, what more can you say about it? Everything that comes, like, this is Gaelic football. This is obviously a lot of people, everyone's saying the two best teams. So look, hopefully it lives up to the billing of it. I can't wait for it. Can't wait for it. The game by itself, no other kind of games around. Obviously, you have the Cavan game before the Derry and Galway game. So look, a standalone fixture. But we can't wait for it. Jack O'Connor, he was brought back to win a Sam Maguire. This game will probably define a lot to see where he kind of stands with it, and the pressure on the Kerry lads. It's crazy too. Like we were saying on my podcast during the week, like if they don't get over the line in this game, obviously the warning signs, the pressure signs come back into fruition again. Obviously the semi-final loss last year, and we've seen the dismay of the Kerry fans after the game, the annoyance in their faces. So look, it's probably now or never for a lot of these Kerry lads to just get over the line, to have won in All-Ireland since 2014. That's uncharted territory, especially for them. So, and then on the Dublin end of things, they'd absolutely love to upset the party. It'd just be the very type of game Dublin can go and win. They've won these type of games so many times. You're obviously talking about the Dublin bench not being overly strong as years gone by. Can they rely on it when the game's in the melting pot? So, so many talking points, my man.
Yeah, and well, maybe we'll put this out to the viewers as well. But what would you say as a neutral is your favourite Dublin Kerry memory down the years?
Yeah.
I mean, there's been some amount of games really. Like you can pick 2 or 3 really. Like I mean, you could even go back to early 2000s and look at some of the cracking games that were there. But I mean, 2009, yeah. That was exhilarating, wasn't it? To be fair, that was the game that changed everything, I think.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Of course it was, my man. Of course it was.
Do you know what I mean? You have to hit rock bottom in order to.
You're right. Just before we crack on or go on, and I was watching on YouTube. I stumbled across it. I think it was an OGA videos. You hardly watch when he's once at Sam 2011, 6 Steps to Sam. It was released on a DVD that year. It's on YouTube. Yeah. I must link it to you. It's brilliant, yeah.
I actually think I still have the DVD. Would you believe?
Yeah, I bought. I when I was a young fella, I loved buying all them DVDs and watching them at all hours of the night. But I just came across on YouTube, and it just brought back so many memories. Pat Gilroy, Stephen Cluxon's last minute win, free to win the All Ireland. It was just a serious year for the Dubs, and he's had all the success since.
We did. I mean, 2011 was the only. It was the only All-Ireland final I've ever been to, and I mean, I remember being on the hill, and it was like...
You didn't get any since? You only were at the 11 one?
No, I wasn't. I remember 2013, we were like, I remember me and one of my mates, like, were...
There's some boys.
Yeah, like, we ended up getting the one ticket, so we actually ended up doing rock, paper, scissors to see who ended up getting the ticket.
Rock, paper, scissors? Seriously?
Yeah, it was the only way we could decide it, because we were
I probably have to...
Yeah, we were just having a few.
I probably have to have like a boxing match with my friend or something, or I don't know, buy me a few pints. I don't know what I'd need to do there. Jesus Christ, I'd probably find a way to get the ticket off my mate. But he's rock, paper, scissors. That's all he's done.
Yeah, well, it was one of them things. Like we didn't have tickets at all. Like we were just having a few points kind of outside Quins, all the rest, big tree, kind of floating around all the pubs, and then we got chatting to someone who incredibly had a ticket and. That was the only way we felt we could decide it, like fairly, like you know that way, like.
But sometimes though, like I'd honestly be you'd nearly go up, like if you don't have a ticket, like you'd land up. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of touts about All Ireland final day, but you could land up and you could easily get your hands on a ticket. I think the excitement and buzz of that, obviously, if you're not scammed or whatever, it'd be some buzz to get it. But look, memories. Look, big man, you can't really stray away from the 2011 All-Ireland final, the one we're after talking about there. Clux's last minute free, the 2013 All Ireland semi final. Like there's loads there, and I think the big thing is it's the best players in Ireland on show on that particular day on both occasions. You had the Gooches over the years. You had your Paul Mannion's, Bernard Brogan's, Jeremy Connolly's, Tomas O'Shea's. Like, man, like players I don't think we'll see for some years, you know.
Yeah, Shane was saying here, don't say 2011. I suppose the Kerry fans definitely still getting nightmares from that. I suppose 2011 was a bit like 2009, you know, and we got absolutely thumped, you know what I mean?
Ragdoll.
Oh Jesus! Like, I mean, if it had been a boxing match, it would have been stopped in the opening couple of seconds.
That was the change of curve, though. That was the change of curve. Like, and like I think after that game, like you seen, I don't know that six steps to Sam. If you get 6 steps to Sam, if you get a chance to watch it, like training 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning on the beaches, ice cold, running up hills, like Christ, if that's not going in All Ireland, I don't know what will, because me and you love putting in that same dedication for Junior B, my man.
Oh yeah, we sure do. You know, every day of the week, morning, noon, and night.
Get out to the beaches.
Yeah, Mohammed says here, Sean O'Shea, most overrated footballer in Ireland, glorified free taker, goes missing from play when teams need proper centre forward to grab the game. But I think you're being a bit harsh.
Bit harsh, yeah.
Yeah,
give over, as Kenny Cunningham says. Nah, big man. Look, Sean O'Shea's an absolutely quality footballer. He's a brilliant footballer. Maybe, look, the Tyrone game last year might have stunted a bit, but God, the stuff that man's gave us in GAA games, he's not at all. He's a supremely talented footballer. And a lot of talks about Mr. Clifford. That man could have a huge game Sunday.
Yeah, and in fairness to Sean O'Shea, I thought he had a great game actually against Tyrone. I thought he actually played well, like considering Clifford went off going into extra time. Like I thought Sean O'Shea was one of the only Kerry forwards really to sort of stand up. But Sir Klopp says Kerry haven't won a tie championship game in a few years. I'm not counting Mayo because they threw it away in second half. I suppose, I mean, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Because that's the thing about Kerry, like, and we were obviously saying it on your own podcast during the week. Like, I mean, when you look back, like Kerry haven't won really, like, all right, fair enough. You could look at the Mayo game maybe as a big game, you know, whatever way you want to look at it. But they haven't won an All-Ireland semi-final since 2019. And if they lose this, they'll be back-to-back All-Ireland semi-finals. It'll be another big game that they've lost. And it's just, like, you know, like I know David Clifford and all these Kerry lads, like they're a young enough team, but Jesus, like if they're not even getting to finals, like it kind of nearly reminds me of, we were saying about Dublin sort of up until 2011, it kind of nearly reminds me of that.
The Nerly boys, the Nerly team.
Yeah, like Dublin had all these up and coming players, but when the crunch came, they flopped, and so far up until this point, you'd have to say that's what's happened with Kerry.
I know, you're absolutely bang on. Like, and they've had them chances 2019. They got knocked out by Cork in the 2020 Munster Championship, and then obviously last year against Tyrone. So now is the time for this Kerry team, and like there's been so much talk about Kerry all year throughout the league. You know, obviously in the Championship haven't been tested so far, and you know they came up against a poor Mayo team the last day out. So look, now is the time for Jack O'Connor. He knows about the pressure up there. There's no point us saying it. Like the pressure is mounting up there. It's nearly unhealthy to a degree, but look, that's Kerry GAA for you. That's what they're involved in. But look, they know what they know what they need to do now. Like, and look, if it doesn't happen on Sunday against the Dubs, and the Dubs even come home, as Commodore said there a couple of minutes ago, by a 5 or 6 point victory, that's heartbreak for the Kerry lads. But look, I think they know what they need to do now. I think, look, they'll not get, like, I know last year was a great chance for them to win the All Ireland and get over the line against Tyrone. They didn't. Like, if they can't get over this Dublin team that hasn't been as strong in recent years, don't have the kind of substitutes to bring on to get over the line. If it's not this year, big man, as I said a couple of minutes ago, when will it be? Because you're looking at the other counties. Tyrone have a seriously strong underage couple of lads coming through. They'll only get stronger again. You've Armagh on the rise, you've Derry on the rise. Dublin might inherit players out of the dead as you usually kind of do. So I think Kerry, you know, it's you really do. And don't get me wrong, you know, David Clifford, Sean O'Shea is still quite young, but look, they really need to stand up and deliver now. And look, there's no point me or you saying it on a Wednesday afternoon, big man. They know what they need to do.
Yeah, like and I think another point we're mentioning as well, like is that like I do think Dublin are there for the taking. Like we were saying there, looks very likely that Conor Callaghan won't be playing. Like few injury murmurs about James McCarthy and whatnot. Like those injuries could be
I think
crucial really
it
for
can be clear
Dublin.
as sorry to put in, but like I think it can be as clear as daylight as this. If Con and like let's get down to the brass tacks of it, I suppose. But if Con isn't fit for Sunday, I really do think Kerry can get the win and just have no excuses. And definitely, if David Clifford's fit and Con is not fit for Dublin, even as you rightly said there, James McCarthy. If Kerry can't win after them two lads being out, there's something seriously wrong. And I know that's maybe a bit forward or that's been a bit too realistic, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, like because you've seen like how Dublin have played without Conor Callaghan as well. Like he's just that focal point in that full forward line that they can kick into. Like they nearly play a completely different way when he's not on the team. Like against Cork, it was far too many lateral hand passes. It was boring play. There was no urgency. Like, and one thing I've seen a lot of the time from Dublin this year is that they don't back themselves a lot of the time, which is strange when they get into shooting positions. Like they've done that like under Jim Cavan, like geez, they'd always back themselves. You know what I mean? Like I mean, in those shooting positions. But it seems in the last year or so that doesn't seem to be the case. We only sort of take the obvious scores. Really, we'll keep the ball for as long as we can. Like, and I suppose it's going to be a big test for that Kerry defense as well, though, because like you'd imagine Dublin are going to have the majority of the ball. Kerry might sit in, at times and sort of try force turnovers and breaks. So. Like I suppose at the same time, it's we've all been talking about Paddy Tally coming in and all the rest. This is really now where it's we're going to see what it's made of.
100%. Like, and I suppose from the last day, Dean Rock, I know we kicked a lot of frees the last day out, and done X, Y, and Z. But I think like to lead more than frees to beat this Kerry team, and I think as well, like. Don't get me wrong, I know Dean Rock's statistics from frees, not missing frees, not doing that. But I think, look, he will lead more scores than that. I know he have Cormac Costello as well. Like he could win a game handily as well for them. But I think Con would be a massive loss. But I think as you said, getting Paddy Tally in for the Kerry defence has really shored it up and have done a lot of work there. It's clear to be seen. So look, I think Dublin, in fairness to them, if they can turn this around and like. Put in a big performance, get over the line against, a fairly star-studded Kerry team. It'd just be like the Dubs to get over the line. But as you said, if they're missing key personnel, that could be a huge loss for them. But yeah, we'll wait and see how that Kerry defence kind of will hold up in a particular game like this. And but it's funny too, Aaron. Like, and it's all well and good, all the talk and the media hype about this Kerry team. But look, it's Croke Park. It'll more than likely be a sunny day on Sunday. The whole of Ireland essentially is watching you. Pressure can, a lot of people say, pressure's to tire and X, Y, and Z. But look, pressure can get the players. It'll be interesting to see. Like the greats stand up in big games like this. We're looking at the likes of Sean O'Shea, Paul Geaney, David Clifford. This is where these lads need to kind of stand up and be counted for. This is where, we've seen in recent years, like Bernard Brogan, Jeremy Coney, the Gooch, all these lads win games with the likes of Kerry Dublin in recent years. So it's this is the game now for these men to stand up, and the stage is set. The stage is absolutely set.
Yeah, Shane says hopefully Jack Barry will be back to do his job on Fenton again. Yeah, and I suppose another point we're mentioning really is Kieran Kilkenny as well, like because I think he's sort of he's been Dublin's best player this year, in my opinion. He was their best player last season as well. I think he's been the most consistent Dublin footballer, probably outside of Stephen Cluxton, maybe for the last 10 years or so since he's come into the side in sort of 2012, 2013. So, like he's kicked 1-9 so far this year. He's looked very good. He's that link man in behind. So, like he could be, he'll be key really for Dublin if they're going to do that in here.
Look, and I suppose as Kev was saying on our podcast a couple of weeks ago, Kieran probably is one of the best players to ever do it in the last couple of years, and what he's been on the bounce is 2012, 2013, and he's just performed and been so consistent in the last couple of years, and no doubt he'll have a huge game. And look, I think to be fair, I know we were talking a lot about Con a couple of seconds ago, but look, if Kieran Kilkenny can stand up and have a big game this weekend, Dublin will be absolutely thereabouts. You're talking Brian Fenton as well. Fenton, it's funny with Fenton as well. I know Dublin haven't really been tested in the last couple of games, but look, I think this is an ideal opportunity for him to flex his muscles as well. Like, I think he's been quite quiet, or maybe not being the same Brian Fenton up in, I think 2020 was the last time we really seen Fenton absolutely fly it. So I think this is an ideal opportunity for Brian Fenton to, I suppose, get the show on the road again. And look, he'll love a game against Kerry. So look, there's, as I said a couple of seconds ago, the stage is absolutely set. So Kieran Kilkenny, Brian Fenton, so there's Dublin are to get over the line this weekend. Them two boys will need to be top of the pops. I'd nearly like to kind of see Brian Fenton have a big game, because obviously everyone will be a big fan of him. We know about the power and quality that man has. But it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, Shane also says Paul Gainey could be our most important player if he shows up, because Dublin will focus on Clifford and O'Shea, which could leave Gainey in space. It's a fair point there. And Sean also says here, you can't stop David Clifford. To be honest, yeah, it's going to be interesting, all right, to see like who they put on Clifford. Obviously, I was saying to you during the week, like maybe Mick Fitzsimons could go on him. Like, he's obviously gone on him in the past. Like, I don't think they'd be putting Johnny Cooper on him. I think Lee Gannon would be an outside shout of putting him on David Clifford. It would be bold, because you see Lee Gannon sort of venturing very high up the pitch. I mean, could it be dragging Clifford back with him, or potentially leaving him in space? So I mean, the matchups are going to be very fascinating.
Oh, it will be, yeah. Like, and we talk about kind of matchups going into all games, but no, I think this will be very, very interesting. And I suppose Mick Fitzsimons, he'll be fit for Sunday, won't he? Yeah, so like that could be. Yeah. Look, he done a pretty good job on David Clifford in the 2019 first game and replay. So look, I think that'll be intriguing to see who does pick up Clifford. I know Clifford, who's going to pick him up against Mayo, and that was a massive talk point leading into that game. So this weekend will be very pivotal. I think Fitzsimons could definitely give Clifford a good one for his money, as lads were saying during the week. That look, like, as well as that, like, Fitzsimons is a fantastic tackler and wins ball really well, but once he gets up the pitch, can't do a whole pile with it. He wasn't ever known for shooting, whatever. But I think he'd probably be the ideal candidate to pick up Clifford on Sunday. But look, we're talking about, we don't even know if Clifford's even fully fit yet. Like, he looked like he was playing that game with a half. With a sore ankle against Mayo last year, and then don't get me wrong, he scores one of the best goals we've kind of seen at Croke Park, so it goes to show the quality and power of the man. But look, it could be Mick Fitzsimons from the early onset.
Yeah, I'd imagine David Clifford will be okay, to be honest. I think that might
hopefully, and even for the spectacle, brilliant.
A bit of mind games or whatever. Like, I mean, he comes, like, if his injury was that bad, they would have substituted him early. Like, I mean, they brought him off in the last 3 minutes, like,
I just had to love, I think was it the week leading into the Mayo Kerry game, I think Jack O'Connor, I think is essentially before that, he was doing like a bit of press work the week leading into the game, and they're like, essentially the interviewer was asking him, like, is David Clifford fit for the weekend? And he just completely shied away from answering the question. So we're definitely not going to get an answer to that question this week, my man. Which is very annoying, because Christ, just like, I know obviously Dublin can plan accordingly if he is fit, but like, give the supporters what they want, my man.
Yeah, I suppose ultimately then who are you backing to go through to the All-Ireland final? Is it going to be the up and coming, the Kerry side that everyone's expecting, or could it be the old dogs of the Dubs that maybe have one last hurrah? I wouldn't say one last hurrah, to be fair. I mean, people forget the age profile of Dublin's still quite good, but like, I mean, maybe this is a bit like 2009 in reverse, where Kerry are making favourites.
I think a lot's changed. Dublin.
Yeah.
No, look, I'll keep you happy. I just have took this notion with Dublin and Derry this week. I think both teams will get over the line. 2 cagey affairs, hopefully 2 rip-roaring games that all spectators can look forward to. No, I think Dublin will get over the line, and obviously that'll please a lot of probably Dublin supporters watching in. But yeah, I think game intelligence, game smarts. I just think this very game, Desiree Farrell has been focusing in towards, aiming towards. I know maybe if Con isn't fit, but I still think Dublin have enough in their armory to just know how to win these games. I just have a feeling we're going to see more Kerry frustration after the game. I think it's potentially going to be another one of them games where Kerry don't get over the line, and the Jacks will be back. They'll be singing Alive Out all hours Sunday morning, leading into Monday morning, and you'll be one happy man, because I feel there's another big performance coming from Dublin. I think it's going to come this Sunday once again, my man. Could be wrong, but I think, I'll go with Dublin.
Yeah, look, I hope you're right. Like, my heart obviously says Dublin, but my head probably
does
does say Kerry, to be honest, just because like I just think there's going to be a lot of fires for Dublin to put out, like the likes of Clifford, O'Shea, Gainey. I think Dublin.
But I just think though,
a few defensive issues this year as well. You know,
we have been saying all year, like, and I know Dublin had a poor league campaign, but they do look, as we've been saying, motivated. They look hungry again. I suppose they nearly look angry to a degree. So I just think it's a different Dublin team. The backlash from that Mayo game last year, all the negative comments that they got after getting bit and knocked out by Mayo last year. I just think this year it's a time to prove a lot of people wrong again. You know, get to the All-Ireland final once again for the last whatever amount of times in the last couple of years. And I just think Kerry inside Croke Park, I just have a sneaky feeling that's going to happen again. It'll come back to haunt them, and I think Dublin might just get over the line in this one, my man.
Well, there you have it. Well, I suppose, for anyone who's watching live, let us know your comments, and obviously watching after, let me know your comments in the or your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure I don't mix up my my words there again. But yeah, John, much appreciated. I was obviously on your own podcast there during the week, obviously previewing the games as well. So I suppose make sure to go and check out the JMac podcast when you get a chance as well. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the like button, all the rest. Plenty of watch-alongs, reactions, all the rest coming out over the weekend as well. So make sure to tune in for them. John, much appreciated.
No worries, man. Absolute pleasure. Enjoy the weekend.